probably just build core items, like scaling items. You can go Echo into Harpoon if you want, or you can just go a BKB so you can right click after the Echo Saber. So there are a ton of options here for the Underlord, you know. Maybe even go for a Shivas, you know, at some point. I think those are all very, very good options here for him this game.
I agree. I think he is going to be more of the Aura bot, you know, than a carry. But like you say, there is some potential for him to flex in there. He also did go for Demon's Reach, like you said, from that offlane.
I think you always go Demon Reach now. You don't really take the other facet anymore. I think this is just straight up better in terms of, even if you're Aura bot, you want to be able to farm and get your items. So I think the Demon Reach helps both type of playstyles a lot more. And as you can see, Jabs again, you know, blocking the creeps. This is starting to be a norm. Once you see the other support showing in the other side, you make sure there's no 3 heroes there, and you can do that, and you always use it to just block and get the creep equivalent back. And mid lane is obviously going to be the lane of importance here. You know, we saw how it impacted the game in the previous series between Boom and Castaway. And here, I think it's going to be the same case again with the Storm having to have a good start, and the Co-op is here to ruin his day with the Shadow Strike.
Yes, sir. That poison dagger. How effective
so you're not happy if I don't use the name, and so now you don't use the name, and you're calling it poison dagger.
We have to be a little bit consistent in our inconsistency, right? That's really the important thing.
Yeah, on the side lanes here, we are going to, I think at least for me, I'm going to expect the Underlord to do well on top. But at the same time, the lane is not that straightforward. You know, Shaman and Sven, they are pretty good at securing last hits.
Kill onto AA? No, not quite, but it was really close. Great control. Tried to cut you off.
Yeah, this is the danger. AA into the Tuskar matchup. You are always in, I think, at risk, you know, when you're trying to contest, you know, or you're pulling creeps and you get trapped by the shards, you can always die, you know. I mean, AA is just one of those heroes that's always an easy target in the lane. Now Stark here trying to trade, Underlord here. Underlord here trying to hit him, and Slug can't really fight the Shaman at the moment. Still level 1. So has to back off here. But Underlord on the other hand is he's getting some pretty good CS in the lane. Not much the Sven can do to stop him. That's just the nature of the matchup with the Atrophy Aura.
Exactly. I think maybe because Atrophior is so good into this game in general and in the laning stage, that's why especially Demon's Reach is considered far better at the moment. Because the other one's what, like the Gate Invaders or whatever, right? That facets. Auto lane. Torrent is going to melt through those meld charges. Confusing a little bit of alliteration there. Again, Aizen going to be just a little bit too quick. He's going to pick up those early boots just to make sure that he's going to be able to run away from this Tusk as needed. This Tusk, who, by the way, is still level 1, so giving a lot of solo XP to Jabs.
Yeah, that is actually, I think, generally what Teams does, you know. He gives a lot of solo XP to the offlaner. I think, in general, it's always good to give your cores more XP. So you can actually have more kill potential if the core gets level 3 faster. In top lane, Drake in a little bit of trouble here, gets his leap away. But he'll be fine for now. Just trying to contest the pull camp from the Shadow Shaman. But mid lane is going, I think it's still going okay for the Storm. He's 14 and 5 against the 17 and 6. There'll be a wave in front of the top tower. He's gonna pull ahead. But here we see Jabs. He's getting pushed back.
He's okay. No cold feet. But mid lane, it's Tims. He makes the rotation on over. Ice Shards tag team. The Shadow Strike all but guarantees that kill as Armel has his opponent slowed to a crawl, and a perfectly well-timed rotation from Tims. Not only does he secure the bottom room, he assists with a kill onto the safe laner.
Yeah, perfect play there. Perfect move. Kanka doesn't really need him. I mean, one thing you can actually... wait a minute, Drake here. He's going to fight General.
Yeah, he's not foul play ready though. All of a sudden, Jackie running on over the Slark with the Windlace is not going to be nearly as fast as he needs to be here. Oh, one more auto attack. Jackie takes a shortcut through the trees. Down he goes.
Yeah, Drake's going to pay a price there. Still level 2, you know, so he didn't have Dark Pack to dispel the sun.
What a cheeky bugger, this guy. He says, don't worry, Jabs. I won't take experience from you. I'll take experience from Ken. Lovely strat here. Really making use of that observer ward. He's like, why am I leveling so slow?
But does he even know? You know, not every player checks the XP bar. He's gonna know now.
Oh, he's not having a good time here, that's to be sure. Armel's rotated on over. He's saving the skill point. He actually has Sonic Wave. I don't think he needs it for the kill. He does not. The second point in Scream of Pain. Ventar Conquer did his best there to steal the kill, but it's going to be a second death now onto the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very rough game for the Storm Spirit, and I think it's going to be a huge problem. Mel's going to be a huge force to be reckoned with at this rate. You know, he's already level 6.5, pre 6 minutes. Going to get the rune. It's going to be an arcane rune. They're going to need to send help for the Storm right now, and Slark is not the best helper, you know, when it comes to the 3v3 fights in mid.
No, he is not. What can he do here as the card hit the tower? Nice.
Yeah, maybe
job
try and
there on
correct the creep waves, but that's pretty much it.
Look, and he's just in so much threat. Fortunately for him, the ice shards aren't perfect from Tims. It looks like with that, we'll be able to dispatch of that first wagon in the wave. So it's really interesting, right? Because it seems like the AA's got to stay down bottom. You can see that Jab's constantly harassing down here. He's taking a little bit of bullying himself, but he's just too tanky. Double bracer, the brown boots. So Ancient Apparition has kind of been anchored down here to make sure this TA doesn't go down. But I don't think we've seen Tims down bottom for like 4 minutes. He's going over now for the Wisdom Shrine, but goes to show you. All of a sudden, Armel, Arcane Rune, they're going to try for something top lane now onto Rupido. Double Bracer with the Soul Ring and level 1 Atrophy Aura. Let's see what he can get done. The Shackles here. John Wall tanking on the tower, but Jackie, he's going to have to back off. Sonic Wave and the last auto attack used for the kill. Cold Feet will not proc here. And, well, even though both supports rotated on over, it's a Slark and an Ancient Apparition. What can they do to stop the Bob?
Nothing, Reggie.
Oh, down bottom now. Oh, no.
Once again, they can do nothing. They cancel the TP there. This is getting from bad to worse right now for Team Ivory here. I mean, they were kind of like forced to help the Storm a lot, and as a result, they kind of neglected their side laners, you know. But it's not necessarily their fault, it's just the way the game has been playing, you know, because there's way too much pressure coming out towards the Storm Spirit, you know, and they're using TPs, they're moving around, and now they're getting ganked on the side lanes, you know, so I think this is just something that they have to deal with. They need to figure out how they can stabilize the lanes, try to use the runes. Oh no, Armel is going to get the next rune. He's going to get a regen rune. This is going to be a long ride, you know, if Ivory wants to stabilize the game for now.
Yeah, and check this move out. John Wall, he's through the gate down bottom as they advance to see who they can pick up. The kill onto the Ancient Apparition is trivial. He will go down. Armel 4-0-0 on a dominating streak. 6 unanswered kills so far as we start to transition out of the laning phase a bit more. And yeah, Winter, it is a little bit troubling, right? Aizen's got good CS at the very least, but when you look at net worth, it is clearly Armel who is starting to run away with it.
Yeah, the hero kills matter more than the creep kills right now. He's also going to be able to use his runes to even further pressure. I mean, Ivory has nothing they can do right now, but just sit back and just try to gain XP. And people are gonna die in the side lanes, you know, and they just have to accept the casualties right now.
This person looks like Grimm's. Hold on, the Underlord's TPing in. He's going to cancel that TP, but actually Aizen's going to run on in. Suddenly it's 1v4. In comes the gate. Aizen is out of the Mel, does get the auto attack out, but they just hit right through those refraction charges. Rupido's like, actually, I think I'm going to go back top lane.
Didn't he just cancel his TP? So he canceled his TP and then he used his ulti to come back down again.
Yes, indeed he did, Winter. Indeed he did.
That was... Yeah, talking about getting caught between two minds here. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think maybe it's because he wanted that invading force, you know, buff.
I mean, you still get it with the TP. You get it either way.
Oh. Okay, well, yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I felt like the first time what happened was he was tipping down and then somebody said, no, you don't come down. And then the TA walks over, I want to fight, you know, because remember the TA was around the Ancients area. He was like chilling, farming creeps, and then he decides to walk over to fight. I think that's when he used his ulti to come over. I think that's probably what happened there, you know, just not really sure what they needed to do. And now Grimm's here struggling to get his level 6. Still needs a couple more creeps here under the tower. And this is going to be a long ride, like I already said, you know, they have to try to get XP. I mean, they have a lot of potential with the lineup. When it comes down to getting their item timings, especially the Crimson Guard on the Underlord, but they have to stabilize the game and don't bleed kills every minute. You know, if this continues, there won't be a mid-game for them.
That's very true. Ken's done a good job there of at least focusing down the wagon. Make sure his tier 1 tower doesn't go down with this amplified damage rune, but Armel, he will look elsewhere on the map for some action.
So yeah, Armel has
another bottom rotation.
He has all the runes so far. Arcane rune, AD rune, regen rune. I mean, this is the downside of having Slug, you know, I think as a position for when your game is not going well. He doesn't offer you a lot in terms of the rune fights, right? So you can't help secure the rune. And it might sound like a very trivial thing, like you can't fight for the rune, but it has a lot of impact in the game, you know. When the enemy mid laner gets a perfect rune for a gank, he kills your side laner and suddenly you feel like the game is destabilized and you can't really do much, you know.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we've yet to see the Storm make, I think, one aggressive zip. The most aggressive zip he's made was to kill the wagon there. But he's slowly getting his items online. He's holding onto those 3 galvanized stacks for dear life to see if they can find an avenue, a foothold back in this game.
I mean, they have Ice Blast now, and Rupido is going well at ASOS, you know, so maybe they need to set up some bait.
Oh, he's gonna Ice Blast him. Armel with the Blade Mail active. Ken rotating through the outpost. They actually get the cold feet to connect, and that is a kill. Ken, 500 gold for the Storm.
Yeah, that was not worth it for Cold there. That was just a very risky play, and yeah, he pays the price, you know. Ivory are gonna be happily taking that kill. And I think he's probably the best person to get a kill, yeah, on the Storm there. He was gonna finish his Kaya next. I mean, slowly but surely they're gonna come back into the game. Rod of Atos completed. This is gonna give them avenue of catching and setting up on the side lanes, which is what Rupido wants to do here. AA plus Underlord can basically set up quite a lot of kills here because they have 2 global potential. The Ice Blast and obviously the Underlord ultimate, so they can move around the map, and you have a Storm which can kind of have a long distance reach as well. So there is a lot of potential of getting kills here as long as they have Ice Blast.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Rod of Atos and the Gleipnir build here for Underlord, just increasing all of your AoEs eventually. Used to have talents for that, but they've gotten rid of it, I believe. Careful. Ice Blast on Armel. Ooh! That was a close one. Snowball now is only going to set up Tim's for the Pit of Malice as Drake jumps into the Shadow Dance to make sure they can pick up the kill. Rupido may be left behind though as Jean-Noel into the shackles now onto him. By the Torrent, jabs rotating on through, turned into a chicken again with the foul play, and it'll be a 2 for none. As Jackie also runs into the Slark. Maybe Slark running into the Sven.
The Slark
ran the order of operations there. And nicely timed ball lightning to avoid the X back, but does mean that this stack is going to be cleared up. General even drops the Serpent Wards.
Yeah, I actually kind of like it. I think they just needed to, because they needed to clear it quickly and run away. Right? So maybe Sven is the one that's not happy. You know, hey, I'm around. You know, those who are mine. You know, I have my name on it.
Grims. He will be victim then to this boat as the Stormhammer stuns the two of them, as does that boat. But the Pit of Malice is pretty darn good. And actually turning on a Jackie. Big Sonic Wave. They do get off the Shadow Dance, but Storm has no protection as Slark is turned into fish sticks there. Armel turns with a double kill. I like the move kind of from Ivory, but a full 5-on-5 fight, it just feels like a tall order for them to win one of those at the moment.
Yeah, it's very difficult against the boat, the Sonic Wave. I mean, if they split them up on the map, just like how their lineup is supposed to accomplish with the Underlord, Storm playing the map, and then they pick them off, I think that's probably a better option here with their playbook. Yeah, but I gotta say, I like the fish fingers. Keropok lekor. I know those are kind of your favorites in Malaysia.
That's right.
With some chili. Some sweet chili. Do you like the deep fried one or do you like the boiled one?
Winter, this is where I'm gonna have to make some enemies with you and in chat.
Okay, never mind. Okay, forget I asked.
Yeah. I like the Dafa fish flip. I like the dried, fish snack. I like that one a lot. But the lekor chips, sometimes they're, you take a look at them on the Pasar Malam and you're like, a bit fishy,
Of course they're gonna be fishy. They're made by
Here's another
they're
look
made
at
with
that
fish.
fight.
Okay, fine. This is how they turn Slug into a Keropok lekor here. Sonic Wave and a punch.
And this TA basically just left to flop around like a fish in that fight. I didn't notice, but Jabs has a full Heaven's Halberd. So even if he wanted to, I mean, Enizen was there, credit to him. He just couldn't do anything, man. He couldn't even attack. It's brutal. The atomization here is turning out to be very aggressive, very enabling for these early fights. With these big stacks now falling to Jackie, he is soon to have a Blink Dagger on top of Mask of Bandis, Echo Saber. He wants to continue the aggression.
Yeah, I mean, the Slug has a lot of work here to do. And right now, they need to kind of split them up by using the Slug to control the vision and the Underlord to shuffle out the side lanes with the Storm, Force Bloom to kind of go back to the lanes to deal with the lanes, and then that's when you pounce, with your Ice Blast and Underlord beating around with the Storm jumping in.
Again, Mims is on the hunt.
Yeah.
Also down bottom, Drick forced to Shadow Dance away from Armel, who has that haste rune, but Tim's very persistent here. And not get a snowball here onto Ken nearly that quickly. Ken with a TP. He's going to choose to try and go through the Twin Gate. And luckily for him, Tim's actually... Whoa. Okay, Jabs goes through. They passed each other through the gate. They're actually going to go back the other side. It would be the next level play if Ken took the gate again. But he is going to remain in this top lane. So now 3 heroes are giving chase. He's going to get through another wave. He's wasting a lot of time here. Well done, lad. Oh, and he's going to even evade Jabs.
That was just
Look at that.
like me when I'm passing by Bukit Jalil, I pass by your home, but I don't come and say hi,
Thanks for the docs. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. I was going to say that that's you when I invite you to Turbo, You go, oh, actually, no, I'm out. Hit by the Ice Blast. It's out that blade mail. He's pretty tanky. Ken, big old zip, but not fast enough. He didn't want to commit too early, and now I don't believe he's going to find this kill. Snowball back onto Ken as they've taken down the Ancient Apparition. Rupido storm hammered away, and there's the chicken fingers. Actually, it's just the Hex to stop Ken's TP away. Armel turns and burns with the Sonic Wave. And it was actually a really nice sequence of events, unfortunately for Ivory. Gonna slip through their fingers there.
Yeah, I think if they got the Storm in time, if he ball lightning in time, they probably only lose. I think somebody is still going to die. They're going to lose like 1 or 2, but they at least secure the top. That would have actually been worth it. And that was a huge misplay there by Storm. He probably hesitated for a moment, because he, like you said, he was scared that he might be bad, and he didn't want to die. So he kind of went in a little bit late, but that was really, really costly, and then they all died, and they couldn't get a kill,
There is no room to be late. There's no room
there's no room to hesitate in Dota.
especially when you're down, right?
No, when you're not just when you're down, when you're playing heroes that can initiate, you must be decisive.
Okay.
It's better to
true.
just go and die than to just be in the middle. You know, you want to go but you don't want to go, then everybody else dies. You know. I think it's something that I also struggled to learn back in my earlier days when I'm trying to learn, you know, the heroes that you need to be initiating on, like you're playing position for tanking back in the day,
Yeah.
or tasks. You have to
Some
tag
Tide
it in.
Hunter.
And sometimes you see, like it's an opening, but you are like overthinking. You are like, oh no, what if somebody's behind him, you know, and then you miss your opportunity.
Sometimes you just have to go. Sometimes you have to be the opportunity, and that can
Yeah.
be a hard thing to do.
Sometimes
Not
you
only
just
in
have
Dota.
to, you know, invite your friend to dinner, you know. Don't hesitate. He'll join you.
What is that? That doesn't... Hold on. I thought we were talking about Dota here. What's going on?
Of course, we're talking about Dota, you know. We meet up, we play some Dota, but we also have dinner, like what normal people do, you know. And we have a drink. And we have some keropok leko with it.
That's right. That's right. And then you stir the pot at the LAN cafe.
Oh no.
Hold on, Jackie. Chasing after Drake, who was caught underneath the Watcher. Don't believe he has the sustain to get through the shackles.
Does he
Sven's
have-
done. Done well, pretty fast on the tip there, man.
Yeah,
Go on,
does he
go
have
on.
the shot yet? Nope, he does not. So he's building into the Yules first to kind of stop the Shaman from carrying his battles, but the Yules is also useful in the field of game. I think as a Stark player myself, I like buying Yules against Corps so that you can dodge the Sonic Wave damage. Because that's something that will frequently kill you if you play enough Slug. You'll know.
I gotta say, Winter, I've been fairly impressed with how Ivory have been pushing out these waves. You know, yes, they are tipping the Slark. Yes, the Slark has died 4 times now, but they are kind of utilizing that vision as you kind of described, right?
Slug's supposed to die. When a game is like this,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
supposed to just go out, be 007 and risk your own life, you know, and just get whatever information you have for your team.
Agent 07 and 0.
Yeah, but in the movies, 007 never dies.
Agent 70. He's the guy that they send in first to scout. How do you think James Bond always has all that perfect information? Because they send in Agent 70 before.
Was it?
He has a mutation. He's like
what?
one of the X-Men where he's just
70?
immune to bullets.
Are you making this up? Or is it based on the movies?
This is based on the movie. You haven't seen Agent 70?
No. I think they're talking about different movies here.
It was the prequel, you know.
It's a
What
different
was the title again? It
MI6.
was Sean Connery was in it.
John Connor.
Kind
Damn.
of Sean Connery.
Oh, Sean
Kinda just
Connery.
stumbled onto.
Sean Connery, that is. Dude, you're not even that old. Why are you watching Sean Connery?
You thought those are good movies, man. I love watching, you know, From Russia with Love, and then you watch Agent 70 right after.
Yeah, that was widely regarded as the best Bond movie, yeah?
And this time John Noel's waiting for him. This time it's a well-deserved tip. This time there will be no escape.
No escape. Yeah, the Slug
right
needs
through
to be
him.
the the one that does that. You know? He needs to be on the receiving end of that, you know, not the Storm.
Clark trying to run for it. He's actually already dark pacted though. Oh, but he has got that shadow dance. So
Look
away
at how
he
afraid
goes.
he is, you know. He sees the succubus and he hides in his smoke.
Yeah, I would too, man. Are you kidding me? I'd be like, oh my god, it's a vengeful spirit with blink. Oh wait, it's Queen Pain.
What a vengeful spirit with Blink.
She looks like Venge. Those blue
Are you
wings.
talking about the cosmetic? This cosmetic? Or in general, she looks
Yes.
like Venge?
No, with this cosmetic especially.
Are they somehow, according to law, related? The Venge and the Corp?
I don't think so. Nice dodge there by Drake. Gotta kind of string it together a little bit better than that if you're hoping to try and catch a Slark, even if he is a support.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have his shot. I think he's going to start to be a little bit more useful now. He'll be good at sparing the Sven initiation, the Shaman, or even the Conquer. But I don't think it guarantees the save because there's a lot of like AoE damage. It could still die.
They just keep tipping Drick. I do wonder if there's some sort of...
You tip every slot player. Do you not understand? When someone tries to play position 4 slot, it means that they are trying to emulate 9 cards, you know, they are trying to be the hero. So when things go wrong, you blame that person, you know.
Okay. Well,
Because
hold
instead
on.
of trying to play a more grounded hero like Tusk, he plays Slug, you know, and they pay a price. I don't know, I'm just trying to make up a story, you know, but...
Sure. No, I like it. I like it. Okay, we are smoking, though. Aizen has genuinely hit a power spike here. He's got the triple D, this Dagger, Deso, Dragon Lance, and the BKB. It's not that 4th D, not that Daedalus yet, but he's not going to wait even for Ken to get his own BKB. They got BKB Storm and 400 gold, Winter.
Who do they want to
They don't want to wait
first?
another moment.
The Slug, and not the Slug, sorry. The Shaman and the Tusk. I think they have to kill those first, especially the Tusk, to stop the snowball save. I mean, they have a lot of damage. If they catch the Queen of Pain, they can definitely full to 0 a Queen of Pain.
That's true. She does have that Kaya and Sansa, the status resist, a lot of armor actually between the Cheetahs and the Blade now, but you're right. They can still full to 0.
The armor is going to help against the TA, but not against the magic damage.
Not against that Ice Blast either. Serpent Wards drop down bottom. That's the problem playing into Shaman. You can always kind of just do this and force you to commit, but there is a BKB ready for the Storm Spirit, and in come the TPs. Initiating there on that Pit of Malice as just going to annoy Rupido here a little bit. A lot of damage there, casually out of Jackie, to be quite honest.
Damage. Holy.
Yeah.
It's just one
I want to be tanking
Firestorm.
that Firestorm.
Firestorm with Ice Vortex, actually. Not one spell, 2 spells.
Yeah, very good points. Yeah, percentage-based damage getting amped. Oof, ouch, owie.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Now, the issue is he's just TP'd back home with the X mark, and he's basically back to full HP. Still has that BKB that he's holding on to. And the snakes have demolished the tier 3 tower. The initiation, that's what you're looking for on your commitment heroes. Tim's wastes no time to blink in, Jackie to follow up, and they have the damage. Holy.
That was quick. And that was an underlord, you know, it was not an easy target. Yeah, but that's what you get, you know, for building Atos. You don't have Crimson, you don't have any defensive items, you know. It's all out offensive.
Another smoke. They're going to try and maybe hunt for Armel in the mid lane, but Jabs, he's here to break the smoke. Oh, they didn't get any vision. They will be left empty-handed. That could have been a pretty sweet opportunity there, Winter. But it's one that will pass them by. And now there's an AC on this Sven. He has just been non-stop farming. I mean, what are we at? A flawless game for Sven, a flawless game for Jabs. Jabs is Asian 007. He's 0011 right now. The perfect support game for him. But yeah, there's just a quick comparison.
I mean, I don't think any of the double O's are support players, you know, they're all the core players. The support players are the people behind the computers, you know, they are like watching in the cameras and everything, whispering in the ears. Go left, you know, take a left here. There's someone on your right. The double O's are all the main core players.
Jabs. Got his own BKB now ready to go. Waiting for that Radiance purchase as well. As he continues to scale. Quick torrent there has caught Ivan. He does have that Mel put into the tidal wave. Hit by that Walrus Punch as well. Ken trying to get some damage into Jabs, but he's so tanky. He is so tanky. And both of your supports just finished off there. Your backline's falling apart, and John Noel, he's gone hunting. He's found a storm. Tim's leaping in, trying to cancel the TP of the Underlord, but will be forced to settle for the storm. And Winter, this one just never got off the ground, did it, for Ivory?
Yeah, this is going to be over soon. Fortunately for them, they don't have to suffer any longer. Jackie is here to finish them off. Yeah, I mean, I think it just all started from the lane, yeah, like the storm getting bullied so much by the co-op. And everything kind of snowballed from there. They have to help him, and they leave the side lane.
Well, look at this guy. John Noel's just in there. The Ice Blast is pretty good. It's going to connect on the 2 heroes, but in trouble is Aizen, knocked back by the tidal wave into the Walrus Punch. No BKB to save him, and he dies. Rupido, he's got a BKB, but he's got to use it just to walk away. He doesn't have any other cores to play with. He doesn't have a bottom lane of barracks either.
Yeah, this is just too much, you know. The hole they are in is just too deep. They have to dig themselves out for a very long time, and then guess what? Boom is not gonna give you the time, you know. Yeah, just here they mean business. They want to finish this as soon as possible. They don't want to waste any more time. And with the next BKB and God Strength up, they're going to run down a lane again. I think Ivory has to try to smoke and wrap around, because you need to get to the back line to kill off the Tusk and the Shaman. If it's a straight up head on, you go, you see them in front, they see you in front, you run at them. I think there's very little chance that's going to work.
Look at this. Initiation, vision, dead hero. And there's no BKB on the Thunderlord. He's got a TP. This is so awkward. He does not.
Yeah,
oh, God. No.
If they're getting caught at night, the game is just over. It's just too much. During nighttime, it's supposed to be the time for you to strike with the position 4 slot. You have the vision advantage, and if you don't get an opportunity to do that, and it goes daytime with this sort of deficit, you're pretty much going to be just sitting ducks in the game.
Yeah, it's been 13, 0, and 4. Quite the streak he is running. Gab still has not found a single kill yet. 0, 0, and 14. Love to see that.
Yeah, what a
That's my king.
What a big difference, yeah. Before he was the man with all the skills, now he's the man with no skills.
Right. That's, you know what that's called? Maturity. He's mature.
Maturity? Yeah, because it depends on how you look at it. So you mean if I give you the kill, right? I see a kill and I intentionally let you get a kill, so I'm a matured player.
Yeah,
is that what you're
correct.
saying?
Yes, sir.
Even if I let you the kill
sir.
because I'm having pity on you, you know, because you're like 0 and 10, I just want you to have a kill. So that's also maturity.
Radiant's middle tower
I can have a
is
little
under
snack.
attack.
I deserve it. Listen, is it pity if your friend is about to get his first rampage, but you can steal the kill, and maybe you should?
You put it that way,
Right?
sure.
Is that pity?
Yeah, you're
no,
getting
it's
rampage
mature.
with your witch
It's
doctor,
mature
right?
not to let him take the kill. Well, listen, if you're at TI finals, take the kill. Make sure he doesn't get away. You know.
Yeah, sure.
But if you're playing your ranked game, you better let me get that rampage, bro. I'll be
I'm gonna
upset.
check how many rampages you actually have.
I think I have a pitiful amount. I'm a support player, bro. I'm not playing any big heroes like that. Here we go, though. Second Aegis. They've got the Roshan's banner, so even if they fortify on this Radiant side, they still need to get in there for the banner. The Serpent Wards, the Wagon. It's just going to be too much damage here, Winter. What do they have left? How can they take this fight? Maybe with the Daedalus. That could be the answer here. This TA 8-second BKB is pretty big. But there's the tidal wave. Rubido is in so much trouble. Ken's going to run on in. He's taking a ton of damage as well. Okay, Ice Blast here for the backliners. I think Tim's avoided it. No, he didn't. He's still frostbitten actually in that snowball. So I think he dies to these tier 4 auto attacks. Indeed he does. He will drop. What you have left, though? No mid lane of Barracks. Since the counter initiation, John Well, he's in there immediately. Can they burst this TA before she gets off the BKB? Not quite. Great save there with the Depth Shroud, but can they continue fighting here? That's going to be the Aegis actually on Sven. He's got a BKB, but no God Strength. They don't have a snowball save. Is there anything left in the tank for Ivory? Unfortunately not. They're just so far back, Winter.
That was a good attempt. Gotta give credit to them, you know, for trying that. I mean, they kind of killed 2 heroes, a Tusk and Aegis. I mean, you see a lot of potential with their heroes, and they took the fight without the underdog because the underdog died right away, but they still killed 2 heroes, you know. And they are 20k behind. If it's a more even game, they are going to have a much easier time bursting heroes, and yeah, the Storm is going to be able to kill more, you know, in the team fight. I mean, that's why it's very, very important that against a hero like Storm, you have someone to shut him down in the lane, because this hero has a lot of potential if he gets a good game. He's like one of the best snowballing mid heroes, and whenever you are drafting against this hero, it's important to take into account that you want to slow the hero down.
Oh, they've caught a hero here. They've caught a hero. It's a pretty big one, too. Jabs, he is going to go down. Right, +1. They have trap vision up there, but Jackie's come back through the gate now on the other side. John Well, he's actually managed to catch Ken, so Jackie's going to turn back for him. Nukes him down. Oh no, the snowball to give chase on a Rupiter. They kill him through the BKB TP away. No Nightfall for you, sir. And Drake, he's up next. Jackie, with all 3 kills, extends his kill streak to 18. Oh my goodness.
They may
Jabs,
have,
unfortunately.
They may have killed Jabs, but they pay a price. A heavy price.
That's true. They pay the price. Jabs
He took one
He
for the
will
team,
lose
so
that
that's a sign of
quality.
maturity.
Yes, yes, sir. Look, he's so mature, you know.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, back
done
in the day, he would be the one standing behind, taking all the kills.
That's right. He'd be saying, no, guys, give me 18, give me 24. And now he says, it's okay. First pick my hero. I play Kunkka. I do whatever we need. Sure, I'll flex onto the Kunkka. I got you guys.
I mean, you know why it's so funny? Because it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, I'm not memeing. I've literally seen the evolution of Jabs. It wasn't even too long ago. It was our DPC seasons that we had here in KL when he was still, you know, last picking Naga Siren, when that wasn't so common in the offlane, mind you.
Don't forget his Rubik and Keeper of the Light. Off lane, core hero.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nowadays he's very grounded here. He just picks the most reliable heroes for himself.
It's gonna break the smoke here, prevent anyone else from dying. Uh-oh. Drake tried to run in there. Actually, he's already used the Depth Shroud. He's already used the Shadow Dance. Hey, good job there. They do have a bit of Malice to cover his retreat. It's not quite megas yet now, Winter, but we are quickly approaching that mark. I wanted to highlight here. Wait, hold on. We might still see a fight. They're just going to run in, are they? Are they really just going to run in? I think they are. They're going to blink in. In fact, Jackie, look at how quickly he's melting this Underlord. One extra auto take. That's all he needs to get through Tim's, though. And this BKB wearing off from Jackie. Okay, Ice Blast. No, it doesn't connect. He just gets away, Winter. And the auto attacks from TA are not enough. Slark from behind. He manages to escape. Does have that buyback. His fight actually still looking half decent, but the disarm on Aizen, he needs to TP away through the Sonic Wave. He will do so. It's Jabs now who's in trouble with the BKB. Can Drake get the job done? Absolutely. He chases him down for the kill. All of a sudden, Tim's having bought back on this Tusk in a bit of an awkward spot. And low on mana, but enough to catch up here to make sure that Blink Dagger stays on cooldown. And in comes the Slark. Oh, he's stolen 3 permanent Agi. He'll be up to an additional here with the dieback onto Tim's. It's been a heavy hold, Winter. 3 buybacks from Ivory. They will successfully defend the high ground.
That was actually so unfortunate. The force stop actually allowed the Sven to survive for Ivory, you know. He got pushed out by someone, so he dodges probably the Shaman.
Shaman, I think.
Yeah, he didn't get hit by the Ice Blast there. Otherwise, it could have been a perfect fight for Ivory here. And you're gonna see once again, the main thing that won in the fight is they killed the Tusk right from the get-go, right? I already mentioned the Tusk and the Shaman. Those are heroes that Ivory have to kill. First in the team fights, they got him. He bought back, but he was late to the fight.
So close.
The Sven was low, he couldn't fight anymore. And yeah, and then Jabs got picked off on the side here. I mean, the TA is just doing a lot of damage still, despite being 20k behind. And here manages to TP out.
TP away. So funny. Yeah, I mean, they were so close to actually connecting. If they actually land that pounce, that Sven is so dead. Ice Blast connects, and he's not escaping.
Yeah, I mean, that probably shook Boom a little bit. It's a dieback on the Tusk. They're probably thinking, maybe we should, you know, sit back a little bit, wait for the Roche. Try to slow down a little. We are going too fast for our own good. I mean, they gotta respect, you know, you go high ground against a Storm, he balls in, uses all his mana, he doesn't die, he goes back, he refills his mana, he's gonna come again, you know? That's the strength of the Storm on the high ground. He always gets a refill in the fountain, and you have to kind of fight him off 2 or 3 times.
Exactly. And now with Aizen, you know, the mammoth lead that Boom had, all of a sudden, Aizen, with a few kills, he's extremely wealthy now. Most importantly, he's up to level 25. He's got that Refraction Instances talent, so he's extra tanky.
That is very, very good into the Sven. Super good. Sven doesn't have any way of removing your refraction charges.
No, he does not. They've cut 1 additional wave mid. Top lane is shoving in. There's creeps through the base down bottom, though. They'll quickly dispatch of those. We're in the Roshan window.
Maybe there's still hope.
What's that?
There is still hope.
Hope is the last thing you lose, they say.
Yeah, if they can get the Shaman and the Tusk again like that fight, I could see them still winning the fights here. Smoke up, this is going to be crucial to break.
And immediately try and catch on Mel, but he's got that Outworld Hammer to be able to avoid a lot of damage. Tim, 4 steps on in, 10 up onto the cliff, feeling some damage. He actually going to get targeted with the snowball because they had vision up there. But with the BKB, he can turn and do the damage he needs. Jackie is getting kited around. That outworld staff saving Lupido here, but that's so much damage. Again, the save out from the depth zone. They are kiting him perfectly. No more BKB, but still, Armel is in there to dish out the damage. But now it's Eisen's time to fight without the refraction charges, the cooldown back there, and no BKB to cover him. Is there a save in time? Jackie trying to fight through this one, but he's right-click down. Eisen's got the kill, but Eisen left without the refraction charges. He is taken on down. In the meantime, they've lost their top barracks to the Serpent Wards of Tim's. Rather make that John well, and GG just has to be dropped. You know, Ivory, they gave a run for their money there at the end, but boom, just too far ahead.
Yeah, that was a good call by Jana. He realizes his team is not doing so well at the team fight, and you know, keeping Bad Rider.
You think in this game still?
Yeah, Bad Rider does a lot of damage. He's magic, obviously not physical like Tusk. But if you think about how they're gonna set up the kill, right? Tusk needs to go near. Either he needs to land either the shot or he needs to snowball in, right? Whereas as Bad, you can pretty much low committal, right? You just bounce him back. If you get the bounce, then you go on him here. And then the sticky napalm, and you are fast with the Firefly, with the Stoke Facet, which yeah, he already has the Stoke Facet. So I think Bad Rider is kind of more reliable than Tusk in a lot of ways, you know. But we're gonna see double smoke. Hang on a minute.
Yeah. A lot of vision here. And by the way, he started off with double impact, so it's not chain gang like we see a lot.
He has boots too. Okay. Usually you start with normal items, but you send the boots before the bottle. But he's going to do it the other way around. He's going to start with the boots first. These are like small little ways of minimizing the impact that Monkey King can do on you. Not sure if it's going to work out well for him. We shall see.
Smoke might break down bottom. It does for both Rubido and Jackie. Lots of vision dedicated to this bottom river currently from Boom. They have both observer wards
and
blocking.
You can see the gyro going for the afterburner facets. We've been seeing sometimes you go for the secondary strikes on the carry gyro, but because he's going for afterburner, it tells me that he wants to be helping his team, right? Because the afterburner facet is going to allow you to be more aggressive. If you think that you have to TP and help your lanes more, I think this facet is going to be greatly efficient for that.
Both side lanes, by the way, they did their blocking shenanigans used to seen. The lanes are a little bit upset there. Of course, Gyro just fixes that straight away with the flat cannon should he choose to. Mid lane, we can see those boots coming in handy a little bit there for Ken. That's to be sure. As he ferries out that regen. And number 2 here, Winter. It sounds like still you like the idea of this Boom lineup, potentially. Are you suggesting we might see a 2-0 here in our first series?
I'm not suggesting anything, you know. I'm just saying what the team's trying to do. I'm not biased to anyone.
No, of course. I'm not biased to say that you prefer a draft.
Is preferring one draft bias? You tell me,
no,
you know.
of course not.
I would prefer Boom's draft because it's easier to execute. I think there are a lot more things that come natural to player, and I always like the drafts with better lanes because it always ensures that it's easier to execute because you have strong lanes. But by no means Ivory's draft is destined for doom, you know.
What about that Searing Chain? It must have just hit a creep, I suppose. Well, unlucky there for Ken.
How well is he doing? 6-0 against 7-4 Monkey. So far still alright with the boots. But Jackie, he is not alright. He dies.
He is not. No, he is not. That is going to be the battle hunger.
Yeah, good start already for the Ivory side. Getting first blood on a hero like Axe, you know, he definitely wants to snowball this game, you know, get his blade mail dagger timing quickly.
And man, battle hunger is so good in the lane. You throw a blood grenade on top of it, no one is running from you.
Yeah, he got buffed so many times in recent patches.
Seriously. Yeah, I didn't know they buffed it again in 739. It was already pretty bonkers in 738. Not gonna lie. I felt it was, but we'll see here now as it's basically kind of getting to that point, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of hate playing against it nowadays as support. You know, you run into the Axe battle hunger, and then your core doesn't let you deny creep. You're trying to deny the creep, right? And then he just denies it, and you're like, and you're pinging your battle hunt. You're not even
Yeah.
taking his last hit, you know, you're just taking the deny.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I mean that's always a bit painful. I think all supports we know the feeling there of, especially back when, remember when denies gave golds and they were like absolutely not, and they
That
felt
was
like
a
they had a
patch.
financial
Oh
reason.
no, yeah, I remember.
Is under attack.
That patch, the mid laners were so impactful. Like being able to do well in your lane on mid is actually just insanely impactful because of that, the deny goal.
Speaking of doing well in mid, now as the levels have come through, level 2 Jingu Mastery, level 2 Boundless Strike, Ken is starting to struggle more and more here. As you can see, Armel always threatening him. Back up top, Grimm's 4 stacks of that main Hawk. And with the Smoldering Resin, he is going to stay alive. And as you say, Winter, this Gyrocopter, this is kind of what you're talking about. He can be the body blocker. He can be that quote-unquote pseudo-melee hero that AA needs in the lane to live.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, because he's doing that, it's going to push out the lane, right? So the off laner is going to get a lot of farms. See Pango, he's doing very well for himself. He has a big wave in the tower. And here, we see Armel, you know, constantly pressuring Amber back. And Jackie kind of doesn't... he doesn't want to play too aggressive anymore, knowing that the axe can actually kill him, the axe with Shaman. They have a lot of damage, so he has to be very, very careful when he doesn't have Scorch Earth up. But he does have a Lotus now, so having that extra bit of burst heal to save him if it's needed.
7 stick charges, pardon me. Only a question if whether or not Drick's gonna let you get him off. Of course, with that shackles, with the foul play, that extra little bit of lockdown, right? That fast is gonna give you these chicken fingers. Ooh, but they turn, and they turn hard on a Rupido. He is going to die. So much damage, right? That's what the silencer support's gonna give you. Last word, Arcane Curse with the Suffer in Silence facet. Even more damage.
Do you think this is actually better? No way, right? Than the reverberating silence.
No.
But it's still pretty good.
Way. It's good. I think it's fair. I think it's very thematic
it's
as well.
fair.
Hold on. Aizen, he actually just kind of got destroyed by the creep. The creep hurricaned him in, and I think he might just die to that. Jabs, I think he missed a little bit there on the swashbuckle, but he's got the wand charges. Oh, that is the Wild Wing Ripper dude. He's a paid actor. I don't know what that was, bro. I don't believe it. And then he denies Tim's to boot? I don't believe it. I don't think our observer caught it.
He must be on the Radiant side now.
Yeah, Mushi says, come upstairs with me, Wild Wing Ripper. And he said, oh no. Got a talking to him between the games.
Let's have a chat, yeah? Come to my office today.
That was unfair. Aizen dies because Wild Wing Ripper just decided he deemed it so.
Radiant
Oh boy, here comes Ken. He's trying to find impact here by ganking the sidelines. He's done so successfully, but Monkey's going to mirror that rotation, trying to go down bottom here as Drake, in an effort to contest the first power room of the game, he's going to be scouted, and he also lets him know there's a big stack in the triangle at the same time.
Yeah, Ima Pango dies. He was low. Pretty low on resources. So yeah, I mean, dies. He has a urn. So he's planning to go Vessel this game on the Pango. I mean, we saw yesterday one Pango went, what was the build? Vessel, Diffusal, Axe, right? Or maybe some Lotus. Or... So it seems like a new way of playing the hero with a Vessel being buffed. And Pango is a hero that wants to participate a lot in the early fights, so Vessel is going to give him the upper hand. It's just good damage, right? They're not really just buying to counter heroes like Huskar or any DP, you know.
With Fortification already used here, and a nuke through the silencer, but Ember's still only level 5. He's got to play it so carefully in these fights. That Orb of Frost taking down the Ancient Apparition underneath his tier 2 tower. Armel, 3 points in the Junior Mastery. That single point there in Tree Dance, and you can see he is dominating for the second game in a row. Winter 41 and 23. His net worth also very respectable here. As that tier 1 tower falls.
I mean, would you say the Ember kind of survived the lane? I'm actually not sure.
Well, he did get a kill top. That led to something. But obviously losing the tower this early means that defending objectives like this big stack that was meant to go to Axe, well, it's going to be very difficult now, isn't it? I'm out. Turned into a chicken. He's now level 6, as you say, but he doesn't have this chain gang, right? So what's that really going to give him here? Top lane, Rolling Thunder will not find the kill there onto Aizen, so Aizen does a good job there staying alive. Falcon Bite to give him a little bit of extra survivability. The stack mostly stolen there by Boom. As Armel collects the second power rune here. Technically, John will get the first regen. Back into the triangle. You know, I
they
always
have to
point out...
slowly, they have to slowly get their levels up and just find pickoffs here. I don't think they're that bad of a position compared to last game. After the laning phase, this is much more bearable. My Graves is gonna die here, but yeah, they have to try to slowly call their way back. You know, jungle, give the lane to the support, get XP. I think once they get level 6 on their A and the Shaman, it's going to be very, very easy for them to kill heroes. This is
not
not
going
gonna
to
work
support
out.
jabs here very much, but good spell casting over the swashbuckle, even with the call down there. It wasn't enough. There's no secondary strikes, right? So it's not an insane amount of damage. And Silencer through the gate here. Done well. They kick things back off again. They do have those shackles here onto Jabs. Jabs again with the wand charges. He's so tanky with these treads. And Aizen gets hit by that last word. He will not take down to that Arcane Curse at the very least, but he's no fighting shape. Oh, no one took the Wisdom Shrine on Boom. Whoops. Someone should get that, lads.
They're too busy killing heroes.
Yeah, that they are. 5-2, not nearly as bad of a game last time around as Ivory, who took like 17 minutes to get their first kill in the game. But Drick, he will fall victim this time to the second Rolling Thunder.
And Monkey
Even
King
got
is
the
also
monkey
heading
rotating
over.
up here.
Yeah, there's no way they defend this tower now. And I thought the gyro would actually have more impact in terms of like moving around the map, getting kills, but just didn't happen. You know, if gyro is not seeing or finding those openings, then I'm afraid Ivory has to be extremely passive here. You know, he's the only one that can kind of move around and get kills. And if he's not finding any moves or time to do it, then the only thing they can hope for is just sit back and try to recover, get that level 6 in the jungle. But in the meantime, Jackie with a Midas, he is going to be extremely delighted if he's allowed to sit back and farm.
He's going to farm, and that's always a scary thing. That's always a scary prospect, isn't it? But Ken, he's finally found himself a power rune, and it's the amplify damage. You know what, Valve? If you hover over the bottle of Ember, it still says rune double damage. Valve, please fix. That's just not right. You see that bottle, rune double damage? My goodness. How could they? My free game? I don't think so. Either way, though, let's see if they can turn this into something, right? Phase Boots, Amplify Damage Rune, Ember Spirit. That is something to be a little bit afraid of, especially as Ice Blast is ready to go. Rims is TP mid now. They really look to set up something here onto the Monkey King. That still feels like a very difficult kill.
They need like
Smoke around. Need the Searing Chain. They got it into the Ice Blast. He sets up the Wukong's command. The Global Silence to try and cover him off as Armel still alive. Ken leaping in for the kill. The Sleight of Fist, even with the facet here, even with double impact, I don't think it's going to get it. And now Jabs running after him is not going to be able to get the kill. He does refill the urn, but it's the Ancient Granite Golems that will slap down the Ember. Armel lives by the skin of his teeth. Those cost him the global, but any fight that the Monkey can walk away from is a good fight, I reckon.
Yeah, that is such a disaster there. I barely got away, the Monkey King. I think the last slide didn't land or something. They lack a little bit of damage.
It looked like it didn't, because I'd be shocked. A level 4 Slight with double impact, I would have thought for sure would have done the trick there. Now, Aizen in a little bit of trouble. The call down does a good job, actually, to bully out these supports. Phenomenal spellcast there from Aizen. All of a sudden, the double Sleight of Chains into that Ice Blast. That's going to be a turnaround, but the Tomb onto Rupido does kind of take him out of this fight, and all of a sudden, Aizen dying to the Croakers right before Jabs looks to turn. hits him with that urn charge. Down he goes. It's Armel who needs some support. Armel fighting versus Ken. Ken with the arcane room, able to take the fight to him, and down he goes. I mean, I don't know if Ken had a rune there. He's just kind of purple because of the debuffs on him. And a big,
that was a pretty good
kill.
fight for Ivory. 3-for-3 trade, global use.
Oh, you
those
know what
trades
that
were-
is actually? It's that Sister Shroud. That's what that purple thing is. And that actually helps him a lot versus the Monkey King, doesn't it, in this kind of a
Yeah.
game?
It's one of the stronger neutral items right now. I love getting that item. Especially when
Yeah.
you're against a lot of right clicks like Monkey King, heroes that are gonna stick on you and do some right clicks. That is always a value item.
Top tower has fallen.
And
And
honestly,
they
a
do
good fight
lose the
for
tower, but I
Right.
think overall it was a good exchange for Ivory. And it's like a pretty decent fight here. They used the call down defensively, and Ken came in with a big style of face with chains here. Even though Axe got doomed, but yeah, I mean they couldn't go in because I think Jackie was like kind of
Mid lane.
scared to go in initially.
fighting off Global Silence. Ooh, they actually still get the cold feet proc on Armel, but they can't get out the dunk in time. Look at Armel jump around in the fights there with that facet. Armel behind the tower now, up in one of the trees. They did hit him with a sleight of fist, but he's just so speedy. Primal Spring here, ready again, and he might just be Scott home and free. Brims. Oh no, he's just so hard to catch. And Tim,
He's
in the
gonna try to
meantime,
kill
he's
it,
actually
yeah.
stolen the Wisdom Shrine. Oh, tough to watch. Tough to watch there. Rick, what are you doing here? Oh no. He's gonna die as well. You can see, yep. There's a lasso. The snakes will hold down the bat here, actually. With the serpent wards, hold on. He's actually gonna live. Armel scouted again in these trees. The call just a split second late from Rupido. Armel still thinks he can take this fight, and he might be right. Jabs running in with that diffuser blade reveal. It's Ken who's in trouble. It's Ken who's dead again. And inside his own serpent wards here, Trick, he is not long for this world. The foul play only saves him for a split second. Armel on the double kill, 6-1 and 3.
Yeah, he's having a blast, you know, on this Monkey King. This is the type of game you expect after you have a good lane on Monkey King. Diffusal destroying them, but you on the other hand you still need to be careful not to feed away your lead. You know? I think it's one of the very common mistakes that Monkey King players have is they build a lead and then they play overly aggressive, they die once or twice, and they give away back a lot of gold to their opponent. Waste all your hard work in early game.
Speaking of a lot of gold, that's what Jackie's currently got. He's rebuilding the Midas after Devil's bargaining it away for the Radiance. He's really starting to take off here in terms of net worth. Armel's doing a phenomenal job of just creating so much chaos, playing around the strength of that Global Silence. How will this Gyro look to even up the game? Oh, this Ember finds some utility here. Hold on, thought they're fighting in the mid lane. They do get that lasso. Global Silence here to cover, and that leaves Ken with no escape. Even if he had the safety remnant down, no dispel available to him as the fight once again has gone lopsided. Rupido, he has this blink dagger. He was so eager to join the fight, but he's just not going to be fast enough. Meanwhile, on the top lane, oh no, Jackie finds Eyes and gets on top of him, and with the Doom, there is no chance. 2 cores dead, 10k lead for Boom. Winter, it is looking all too similar to game 1. That's going to be a nice call here onto Tim. Cold feet will proc, and that's going to be the first dunk of the game there for Rupido. Rims is going to lose his life here, but now without the global, they're thinking they can take this fight. Blink Dagger is ready here. Armel, he is going to get Blink called. Jabs, he's got Rolling Thunder, and still this diffuse is going to be a ton of damage with the Serpent Ward set up. They have a kill onto Armel. Jabs has potentially done them a favor there. I guess those heroes have got phase boots, so they could have just walked out of the Serpent Wards anyway. But Jabs is not going to be able to save the Monkey King, so Boom, a little bit too confident sticking around there. That's a big kill onto the Monkey.
Yeah, very, very big kill. That's gonna be a morale booster for sure for Team Ivory now. Any kill they can get. I mean, Gyro is a long way from fighting Chariot. He's gonna need his BKB soon. But meanwhile, Drake in trouble here. He's gonna walk away, but they're gonna need the gyro to get his BKB as soon as possible. You know, I mean this silencer is just too difficult to play into. They don't find him, you know, in the middle engagement. They decide to catch the
That's
angle.
going to be a nice catch, though. Ice Blast into the call. No way out for Armel. Global silence on cooldown for 13 more seconds. And they've also found Jabs. Jabs is going to turn, do a good amount of damage. It's Ken, though, who's actually out of mana. He does not have enough to continue fighting. They're going to have to let this fight be.
It's time for Boom to kind of find a rebuttal here. Monkey King died twice in a row, back to back. That's not going to feel good for Armel. I mean, they have the dagger plus lasso on bat with the global, so they are very, very strong right now. Any fight they see is most likely going to end up going well for them.
Oh, yeah. They also have pretty much enough gold for, well, maybe actually with Devil's Bargain. Jackie, he can just sell the Midas if he wants to, and I think he's got BKB ready to go.
Yeah, once they have this BKB on Doom, BKB on... I mean, Monkey should also be, I think, getting a BKB now. I don't think he can afford to get an SNY, given that he died twice in a row now.
Yeah, 2 Diffusal carriers on the team, by the way, right? He's going SNY after this Diffusal blade on the Monkey King.
Yeah, I think he should be going BKB at this point. SNY is not going to save him from the magic damage. It's helpful with the axe call, but that's about it.
That's probably what he's foremost concerned about, right? The 2 times they've caught him have been to that axe call recently. Careful here. He's seen the ward, but it's far too late. Nothing he can do against the blink lasso of Tim's. Better him than the gyrocopter.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower.
I mean, the map is just gonna get smaller and smaller. They have to, I think, wait for the BKBs and try to fight, or they have to take a risk. You know, once they have played here on X, trying to go for a takeoff. But Drake is going to die
Thunder here. Yeah, probably expecting more heroes, but it's just Drake who's holding the rotation. And as they focus him, wait, hold on, Global. Okay, that's going to be in the pit. That's because they've doomed Ken. I had to look around for that one. Ken, he must have been fighting for, what, the 20-minute runes, which spawned down bottom anyway. So Global for the pickoff onto the mid-ember then.
And Doom and Global down. Hey, time to make a move here into Ivory. They have played Mail done, so this is go time. I mean, ideally they find the Monkey King or the Pango here, like the big call kill, or even the Doom for that matter. You know, Doom is going to be the biggest one. They scan the Tormentor, they know it is going on. Ice Blast to give the vision.
Ice Blast is incoming. It's going to be a bit too early, but we might see a mega call here. He catches 3 heroes with the Blade Mail active. 1 dunk already. Armel realizing he can't fight here, even if he's burned the mana of Rupido. Jackie's going to activate that BKB, but it's Armel who's in trouble. Armel gets the bonus armor, but he's ticking down to Battle Hunger and the Searing Chains. He's hiding around now inside the Wukong's command. Can they catch him? They see him there. The Death Rhyme and everything else, scouting him out. He goes down. What a hero, Rupido. You madman, you've just saved this game.
One step at a time, Richie. One step at a time, and Tormentor is going to be theirs right now. Greaves is praying that Lord David, I've been a faithful servant. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. That's how you know we're both support players, by the way. Very nice. Huge.
Yeah, I'm still gonna tell you, I wish we could choose who gets the shot, so we don't have to guess.
Nah. I like this method better, to be honest. Give it to the supports.
Yeah, that is actually a huge deal. The next fight is going to be much, much better for Ivory here. But now, Global is up, Doom is up, Lasso is up. Boom, they have everything in their arsenal already. I mean, Ivory still needs to be careful of this, be wary of this. Without BKB on Gyro, he's just gonna die in the front line. Same goes for the Axe.
That is true. We got a little bit of damage now with that Crystallis and the Ag Scepter, but no lifesteal, no BKB to keep this Gyro alive actually in the fight.
And Tim's is looking for a target here. He has 4 stuff ready, so he is very mobile.
Dire's top
Boom,
tower
they've lost
is
to the
under
Tormentor,
attack.
but they're still hoping to find a fight and that objective around Roshan. Jackie, no Blink Dagger yet, so he's unable to take advantage there of Ken, who is maybe slightly out of position. He simply TPs away.
Yeah, Amel also realizes he needs to
Dire's bottom tower
get
is under
BKB as soon as
attack.
possible. He stops going for his SNY, kills the BKB after the Yasha. It's still gonna take him a long time here. This is going to be the next 5 minutes of him being vulnerable to getting killed by the Ice Blast and Shaman themselves.
And Eisen, wait, hold on,
There you
maybe
go.
actually they're getting initiated on. Global Silence here to ensure there's no follow-up. It's just going to be the Shaman 3 ultimates committed here, actually.
Yeah, seems
Is
like
there something on...
Ivory should be okay with this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm dropping voice
They're
lines
not
here.
okay.
Oh, but they're not, they're not okay with that one. And that's going to be, the Blink Dagger now ready to go from Jackie. I said it wasn't too long to go, and, well, it really wasn't. They pick up the kill there onto Ken, and now I think you're less okay with this if you're Ivory.
Yeah, he probably felt like he was invincible after the global went down. So he went and farmed a creep in front of the tower. And yeah, I guess he didn't know about the dagger on Jackie there. So getting caught out. And now Amel, he is going to be in the bottom side now, trying to finish his BKB. Now he's all of a sudden not too far away, halfway there.
He's under a ward though, Winter. So Ivory really smoking, trying to cut him off. Farming these Ancients. Ken TP into that tier 1 tower. They do have
it's
vision
gonna
of
be
Ken
tough to kill.
TP.
Dire
Ice
are
Blast.
scanning.
He's gonna miss here. They blink on in. They still find themselves John well. Will Armel do anything about it? He says, actually, I don't want to be here anymore. Thanks, John Well. Catch you later, friend.
Dire's
Yeah, I'll get
Good job there.
I'll get you some bubble tea later. Thanks for tanking the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's difficult if you're in those situations. It's like, do you want to get a bubble tea for tanking the gank, or do you want to not tank the gank and get a pizza instead?
Ha ha. I'll take the pizza, please.
is under attack.
You want your KD to look real good at the end of the game, huh? That's what matters.
Remember to add some pineapple on top.
No, you're not getting, no, sir. It's not from this guy.
Is under attack.
All right, that BKB is online, though, for this gyrocopter. That's that survivability item he's really looking for. With the Crystos now, he's got a little bit of damage, Winter.
Is under attack.
But he is a bit more of a threat. This is still a 12k net worth lead for Boom. A lot of this is on Jackie. A lot of this is on Jackie. He's got a 4k net worth lead alone on himself.
Is under attack.
There's also this Ember and this Axe who are about 2k behind. 3k.
He has 30% of the lead on him.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, for Ivory, I feel like the fights need to be longer. They have to try to poke in, poke out, try to bait the global out and reset. They have one 4-star on the A, so I think they need more though. The Shaman's not getting a 4-star, he's getting a Gleamer. I'm not sure if the Gleamer is going to be able to help him to get in and out as effectively as a 4-star. But basically the name of the game is to use their BKBs and their 4-stars to go in, go out, force global, and then you have to
Exactly.
find the right moment to go back in again.
Bottom tower is under
If you can extend the fight duration, basically if you can not lose the fight during that global duration, it's looking pretty good for Ivory.
Yes, correct. Because the gyro has a lot of damage. He just needs to find a way to right-click people.
Ice Blast might steal the Roche kill. It won't. It will not, but it will scare Tims and Jabs a little bit.
It was close. It was close. Good effort.
Close. It costs nothing to do that.
Nope. Nothing. And I know you always like to say, you miss all the chances you don't go for.
That's true. That is 100%
Oh, you
true.
used to say that about Pudge. Just
That's
throw
true, you
your
miss
hook.
100% of the
I'm
hook.
not gonna judge you.
Radiant's
Just
bottom
use it.
tower is under attack.
So use it. You miss 100% of the hooks that you don't throw. It's better that you just throw it. Even if you hook the creep, even if I blink in front of you and you hook me instead, it happens.
Yeah, talk
These
about all the
things-
games with the Podge players saving the hooks because they don't want to affect their hook percentile.
I know, right? Oh, my Pudgerkana. My Pudgerkana. My win, dude. My win. Focus up, man. Drick. He's got that Glimmer Cape online. He might have been able to blink away there, actually. I don't think it matters in the end. Probably
Yeah,
he's not living.
Even if Falstaff is not saving him there, so doesn't make a difference.
But it's just a little bit longer, gives some information for the team. That's going to be one sacrifice here to the Doom as he is holding on to this first Aegis, full S and Y. Is he building an axe? I think that was an Ogre axe being flown to him. Is that Blade Mail?
Blame you on Doom?
Echo Saber? What is he building?
Echo Saber.
I think it's Echo Saber.
Yeah. You want
Void
the
Stone?
harpoon?
Dude, I'm failing my shopping spree.
Uh-oh. What did teams
Lovely
fail? Illusion identifying test.
Needs to go back to school. They're baited by the Manta of Ken. So a little bit of wind underneath Ken's sails. You know, he needs these small wins, honestly, right? He's had a very tough series. Something for the mental. And it was an Echo Saber, by the way.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Ken to kind of take the team fights well.
Madman. Ken, we've been here before, and this time it's going to be different, though. It's off the remnants. Lovely
Yeah,
reaction.
he didn't want
time
to kill
there
the
for
last
Ken.
creep. He knew.
TP away from Armel. They nearly catch him up top lane, but again, it's a Monkey King. He is just far too mobile. Got a full BKB now, Armel.
And they're just kind of waiting for the creeps to be shoved out before they group up somewhere to fight. I don't think there's any items that they're waiting for. They're, like you say, you know, Boom is just ready to fight. They're strong. Ivory is the one that needs to buy time to finish. I'm not so sure about the Radiance on Ember, but he seems to think that if they're gonna win, it's gonna be a long game.
Ken. Nice job. Gets off the Manta. Just in time. I think that was wise, obviously. He lives.
I mean, he already used the Manta, so he could get caught by the Global. So he didn't want to take any chances there.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It hurts your ego to do so, you know. You have to back away once you see an enemy sometimes. Like, am I actually that weak, you know?
Well,
I have to
it's
run
more of
every
like
time.
Doom is that strong. He's just simply just hard countered, isn't he, by that ability? I also don't know about this Radiance, by the way, for Ken. I wonder if there's anything else he can build.
Nah,
I was thinking maybe
he
Slinkins.
feels like if they are going to win, it's going to be a long game. And Radiance is like probably one of the better items to help him scale and just maintain relevancy throughout the game.
Just a lasso in the river there, not much to see. Boom just finding pickoffs on supports. Yeah, that's something to consider, right? I certainly agree. I feel like it's one of those games where Lincoln just does so much for you here. I understand the reluctance for any
Yeah,
BKBs.
but Lincoln's meta
complaining.
means what, Richie? You
No
know what it
damage?
means?
No
It means you do no damage.
That's right. That is right. That's a style to avoid it at their
Ooh, they tried to catch him off.
Global?
Yeah, they tried.
That is cool. I mean, I guess he did use Manta,
Yeah,
so
because he used
there was a chance.
precisely. It was a nice try.
Dire's middle tower is
Come
under
on.
Hey, it's not like they
Man, it
need the
is
global
really-
now. They have Aegis still on the Doom.
It is really strange to see Jackie attacking twice that quickly. They know the Blade Mail doing a lot of work now to Jackie. He's gonna melt. They melted him, and only the call and Blade Mail used for that. There's still a BKB on Axe ready to go on the second life. A blink back here by Jackie as he does not want to use too much more. They don't have global now. They're fighting slightly more uncomfortably. You know what Boom kind of reminds me of? This kind of Boom team at the moment, this play style, Winter? Like this lack of being able to find objectives and force objectives. Throwing it back to our DPC season again, like Blacklist Rivalry. You remember, like, they would do really well in lanes, and then they would kind of just exist in the mid game.
Isn't that
This is
just
better.
an SCA thing?
Yeah, but we saw it basically every game from them. I specifically remember. This could be big though. This could be big. Tim's gonna break here on Rupido. Rupido gets off the BKB and the blade mail, but he's still gonna be dragged back, even if it's killing Tim's. He is now out of position. Grims gives him the 4-staff now to get back into position as Jackie just running up high ground, finds the gyrocopter, drops the Doom onto him. Ice Blast, though, onto Jackie as Ancient Apparition completely out of position. Jabs has found a new Pango spot. He's in a little bit of trouble. On goes the Ancient Apparition, but Ken's going to get run over here by Jabs. Global Silence off of cooldown. There is nothing Ivory can do in this fight. It will go down. There's that Skull Basher, I think. Yeah, doing work. No Jabs. Basher Hags. Did Ember get bashed? Must have, right?
I mean, it was a little bit of an awkward start, you know. Like Jackie ran out of high ground, he popped BKB, then he sort of decided to back off. Then Armel was like, okay, no, let's go, you know. Monkey King uses his ulti. But in the end, they just had too much in the tank, you know, to outlast Ivory in that team fight. I think once Gyro doesn't find a way to output damage, you are not going to get enough damage from the other heroes, you know. They're all pretty low in terms of damage, the Ember and especially the Ember, you know. The Axe kind of only has a lot of damage if he finds a very, very big, at least 2 to 3 man call, which he didn't find there. So it's tough, you know, there's a lot of reliance on Gyro to do everything here.
There is, yeah. You kind of have to set up the team fight for him to make sure that those conditions are met for him.
Well, according to the chart, both the Ember and Axe did more damage than the Gyro in that team fight.
No surprise. I mean, he face tanks Doom, basically. And that might change this time, though, right? I mean, he has Daedalus completed, S and Y, into the Satanic for that 6th item likely to replace that Falcon Blade.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even a perfect initiation there. Tim's blinking, but I think he somehow got the lasso a little bit late, so Axe, he reacted with BKB, and the fight kind of felt awkward there. But yeah, if it's a clean initiation, the bat finds someone and they full to 0 that hero, it's going to look very, very different. I think on the Ivory side, they have to be the aggressors. I think they need to go with the Axe and find an opening.
They have to force out the global base.
Yeah.
Right? We're at that stage of the game already where global's ready again. Global's back off of cooldown.
Yeah, he has the talent, the cooldown reduction. That's why it's always up frequently when
He's
there's a
got
fight.
Ag Scepter too, by the way. So that's annoying.
Yeah, annoying for the backliners, I tell you. Those are the heroes that don't have any way to dispel it.
They're smoking though. They're just going to be running on in. Smoke on smoke action. Hands coming through. Armel position more aggressively. He will show. And actually catch him though. The call does actually taunt the Monkey King, but he's so far away still because of that Primal Spring. He activates the BKB to run as the rest of his team were smoking across the map. They were not expecting Ivory there, clearly.
Yeah, that was a close call right there. They needed that kill so much. I mean, Rosh is definitely on the cards right now. It's Night Rosh, top lane, so both teams are trying to get that +1 kill before they go Rosh. But in the meantime, Boom has better vision on the top lane. The 2
Jabs is gonna let loose there. They still have global to cover. Axe is gonna live for now. Gets off that call. Good damage being returned thanks to the blade mail. Jackie's very low. If they don't have an Ice Blast to chase, AA is dead, and Jabs is ripping apart your backliners. He's got detection as well, so Drake doesn't have an easy way out of this one. All of a sudden, Gyro's ready to turn and fight, but through the global silence, he'll be forced to BKB, and he cannot save his Shadow Shaman. Everyone is alive now for Boom. They just layered the spells nearly perfectly there, as Ivory getting caught once again on their axe.
Yeah, they were not able to find the initiation, and I was going through the fact that Boom had like 3 really good wards on the top area around Roshan. So it's gonna most likely give them the advantage there when it comes to the vision game and initiation, you know. So Ivory just kind of walked into a trap, and they were not able to reward, and they just lost all their heroes there. You see them walking into that vision, Barrier tanks or lasso, and the fight was pretty difficult here. Jabs did a good job disrupting the backline. He finishes off the AA. Yeah, Jackie doesn't die. And it's just spin down to the vision, you know, they see everything. So the fight was pretty straightforward for Boom.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Now there's a second Aegis on Jackie, who is really starting to scale. He's actually just about 6 slotted here. I don't really see a great item for him to replace at the moment. Maybe with Radiance. Only Blink, Phase Boots, Harpoon, BKB, SNY. Going for that refresher as his last item here.
Scanning.
I guess an Ags. He can eat the Ags.
You mean Ags on Doom?
Ags on Doom, yeah.
Ags on Doom doesn't feel like the agenda on the menu right now.
Bottom tower
Maybe
is
not.
under attack.
I think the axe is like good specifically against certain things like black hole, but I think in a lot of cases you only get it if you don't have anything else to buy. You already finish buying everything you need.
Top tower is under attack.
Refresher is generally I think the item you want to go if you don't need to buy the Aghanim's.
Certainly, certainly. I was just kind of pointing out, he's kind of running out of items already, with the refresher being like the last big one. Then he replaces Radiance with something.
Dire
I mean you could, yeah,
We'll see.
you technically could do that. I mean the Radiance late game is not really that strong anymore, you know, you don't need to keep it. But the reason is
That's,
really
okay, that's a pretty good call. They also actually stopped Tibbs from getting any kind of counter initiation. Global silence to cancel the shackles. Ken, he's in trouble. He doesn't have Manta for a second. Ken dies to the silence inside of the Wukong's command. Jabs is running down all the backliners as he did get taunted, so he's inside the fountain, trapped in the trees. The double buyback from Ivory as they at least get Jabs. Oh, that was looking so good for a moment, but just a second too early there on the Manta.
I mean, that was
earlier
a
by
very
Ken.
nice way to start the fight. I'm not sure if you caught it, you know. Drake used his courier to scout. He know that the bat is trying to find an initiation in the trees. He used the courier to scout the bat and he started a fight on him, you know. That was a small little detail there by Drake on the Shaman.
Yeah, I did see that he stopped the initiation by Tims. I didn't see how he got the vision, so he can call out there. The buyback on the Ember is going to be rather costly, and they still end up losing the gyro in that fight. My God, he took 600 damage from Pyrrhic Cloak, by the way. I think, did he die because the fountain was killing?
Oh, you mean the Pango used the cloak
The
on the
Pango
gyro?
used Pyrrhic Cloak on gyro, and then Pango got called mid-roll, so then Pango couldn't turn, so he rolled into the fountain.
Okay. So the axe actually killed the gyro. That's what you're saying.
Maybe a little bit, honestly. I have to see a replay on how that fight actually ended, on how the gyro died. I was more kind of locked in on seeing that Pango roll around in the fountain. But maybe a little unlucky sequence of events there. Now I think that's
I don't think
refreshing.
the axe did anything wrong there.
I agree.
He was just trying
the
to
way
kill
the
the
cookie
Pango.
crumbles. Just Pyrrhic Cloak, honestly, I think.
It's something that's very hard to anticipate in team fights, you know, things like this. And since it's also a fairly new item, people don't really think about it. Give it
Into
time, you know.
Ivory,
Give it time. Maybe the players will adapt to it. You know, people will read it more.
Ivory, they saw Monkey King inside the Lotus Pool. They were pinging it. And move around in that side of the map. Heads up map awareness, right? Just checking the Lotus Pool through fog. You can always see how many Lotuses are in there. Here's another look at that fight, by the way.
Yeah, see
At
the
this point, you
courier.
can already see
The courier
the
floating
Ember
there
dying.
gives the vision,
Yeah, there's
and
the
then
courier.
here
he was doomed.
it was
And
the
then
free
Pyrrhic
code. Yeah, the free code kill him.
Wow. That's wild. I was wondering, I was like, wait, Herod
Yeah,
died in
he looked like he was
Battlefield?
gonna live, yeah, towards the end, and then he died.
barracks are under attack.
I mean, unlucky, but you got to take that kill onto the onto the Pango, right? Jebs is a big target.
That has to be the
Travis,
fancy
by the way, who's in the base, blinks onto Ken. Ken, who gets the Lincoln Sphere, and I think that's not going to block the Doom. Pulled back by the Harpoon, no way out. That's going to be a tieback for him. Jupiter blinks on in, holds on to the BKB, but now he's going to have it in the
that has to be
grave as Tims jumps in with the Flaming Lasso. Eisen doing what he can here. He's got his own BKB, he's got his own Lincolns, Winter, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference here. Two of his cores dead without buyback. All of these lanes of barracks are under threat.
Dire's top barracks.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's no way they can defend right now.
Gyro nearly gets pulled out of the base. No lasso on that one.
Gyro has a lot of work to do, Ricky, here. Can he
No, he
1v5?
does.
If you give him a
He held on
Ricky,
to the
maybe.
PKB. Ooh, no, Armel. Armel just makes that jump in. The Outworld staff saving the A. Actually, for a moment, as actually Jabs is going to get hexed up. They do force out that global silence. Aizen fighting even without the BKB. Still thinks he can take that fight. Wasn't exactly incorrect either. Jabs with the roll up, able to escape. Rubido, he's brought back though. He got buyback suddenly and doesn't even need the dunk. Aizen's got the physical damage, but Tim's round number 2 lassoing onto the Axe. Axe, who's jumped now by Jackie, takes him down there with the Scorched Earth active. Jackie fighting through this one. The Ice Blast, they needed it to hit. It's not going to find anything. And Aizen just has to retreat now. He used BKB to run off the high ground. What is going to stop Boom now?
It's gonna take a miracle, Ricky. Someone needs to go to the boom team house to pull out that internet plug or power plug.
It's looking difficult. It's looking difficult, Jackie. He finds the harpoon. Another Outworld staff team actually avoids death there. Nicely done. His homing missile is just poking and prodding. Their spirit's alive. It means they'll be able to stack these Lincolns. What can they find? Certainly not Armel. He's too fast. And Jackie, he has a BKB here, and he's also baiting. Lasso is ready to go another time here. They don't want to make this a Tim's highlight reel, so they won't chase any further. They're going to choose to fight for that last pair of barracks down bottom.
Yeah, one more fight. One more fight. They need to pray that the axe lands like some amazing god tier. First call on the video.
The Gyro, Lincoln is going to be broken. They didn't stack the Lincoln Spear. Ice Blast is going to come through, but Aizen, he does not have any lifesteal, Winter. He's just dead. He's just dead. Ken hit by the silence. They take down the Ancient Apparition. Those two heroes do have buyback now, and they did at least get through Tim's. Oh my goodness, this is getting tight for Ivory. And boom, they just have such a huge lead, Winter. They're up in game 2 here in this elimination. BO3, Ivory. The chances at TI slipping away, which with each death of this extended siege now is Armel already going here for the Megas. Rubido, he lands a call. That's Global Silence number 1. Rubido, he BKBs. They have a refresh roll up though, so check out this second Global Silence. Aizen, he's going to buy back. They actually keep everyone alive. And even with BKB, you can't get out of that Twins gate, Armel. A second Global Silence to try and save him. It's not going to do anything. A big death there by Armel. He feeds 1,000 gold. 1,000 gold to Aizen. And Timbers is going to tip him.
It's actually what spawned at 1,000 is like it's 2,500 gold.
2,500, yeah. It's 1,000 only to Aizen. You're right.
Oh, did he actually try to walk out the twin gate? That was what happened.
He did try and walk through the twin gate, yeah.
That's why he got tipped.
Yeah, you can't walk through the twin gate. He's like, guys, I can't walk out. They're like, yeah, bro. Defender's gate, not twin gate. Defender's gate.
Well, technically, that's 2 of them, right? So it's still a twin.
That's true. They are twins. Yeah, they're twins. You're right. Wow. I mean, that is... there's hope. There's hope. What can I say? The Global Silence being refreshed, not having the Bat Rider in that fight does actually make a really big difference as far as the control, as far as getting Monkey King out of that bad situation. And hey, maybe that's the value of the Radiance this game, right? If Ivory, though, if they get lucky on this Roche timer, they will be in a pretty scary position here for Boom, relatively speaking, as scary as something can be when you are up nearly 40k. It's not that fast of a rush. They don't have a TA, so they don't know when this guy's coming back. And well, even if they take this outpost, which they can't, by the way, they don't have a single tier 2 tower yet. Mel's gonna be alive in 3 seconds. Tab, ready to count to initiate. It's a long Roche respawn timer. Ooh, maybe afraid that it's low, but to their benefit, Roshan is being the dramatic guy that he is, taking a long time to respawn. All out of the mid lane, into the global silence. They still actually managed to get off that Ice Blast. Jackie keen to fight through this one as Jabs lets loose the Rolling Thunder. They actually catch Eisen here. Eisen BKB'd, but they have a refresher. They've doomed him. Io running for his life. He is not going to live through this. That's going to be a dieback for him, Winter. They just focusing him down. And Ken, what are you going to do about this now? No remnants, no HP. GG well played is called. Boom Esports, they will be moving on into the next round of the TI qualifiers. Well played to them. Two very clean games.